never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason to breathe this air.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Well, I've mentioned on Monday that I was going to Monday Night Raw, and I mentioned in yesterday's video that I went, but I have not yet given my thoughts on it, and I'll do that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to give you the top 10 from the NASCAR Cup Series race. This past Sunday, it was throwback weekend at Darlington all weekend long. So if you're a long time NASCAR fan, I encourage you to go back and watch the race. But if not watch the race, at least look at the pictures from some of the cars from the Xfinity race on Saturday and the Cup race on Sunday. Saturday, we had the 31 car that was green and white from back in the day when Harry Gant had the Skull green and white car. We also had somebody with the old Hot Wheels car from back in the day when Kyle Petty had Hot Wheels as a sponsor. And then somebody had the Mellow Yellow sponsor from back in the day when Kyle Petty had that sponsor. Then on Sunday, of course, Kyle Larson had the old throwback Terry Labonte number 5 Kellogg's Frosted Flakes car. That's just a few of the throwback cars from this past weekend, but Brad Keselowski won the race, and it was his first win in 110 races. His last win was April of 2021 when he was still driving the 2 car for Roger Penske. That's his first win as an owner now. He is a part owner for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. It's his 3rd year in that 6 car. Ty Gibbs comes home second, followed by Josh Berry, who now drives the 4 car for the retired Kevin Harvick. Then we had Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe rounding out the top 5. 6 through 10 was William Byron, Darrell Wallace Jr., Alex Bowman, Justin Haley, and Michael McDowell. Now, this Sunday, there is a race, but it is not a points race. It's the All-Star race Sunday night from North Wilkesboro. 8 o'clock is when the actual All-Star race starts. I believe 5 o'clock Eastern Time is the All-Star Open, and 8 o'clock is when the actual All-Star race starts. And I love North Wilkesboro Speedway. But on to my thoughts from Monday Night Raw. My man Jay and I went Monday. The doors opened. It was supposed to be 6 o'clock. It was actually about 6:05 Eastern Time when the doors opened. And that was my first WWE show since 2009 or 2010. So it had been quite a while since I've gone. I prefer to watch it on TV, and that's not just wrestling. I like football better on TV. I like basketball better on TV. The only thing that's about the same is baseball, because the way baseball is played, it's such a slow-paced game. You can sit beside somebody and carry on a conversation during the game, so it's not bad. But I prefer to watch everything on TV because, for one, I don't like being in the crowds of 25, 30,000 people, if not more, depending on what event it is. I don't like paying $5 for a water. I don't like paying $5 for a bag of M&Ms. I don't like paying $7 for Coca-Cola. I don't like paying $10 for a bag of popcorn. I don't like having to walk 3 miles to go to the bathroom. I don't like having to get up and down 25 times every time somebody walks by my seat. That's just me, and those are a few reasons why I prefer to watch it at home. Plus, when you go to Raw or SmackDown or any other WWE event live, when there's a match going on, you can't hear the commentators, so it's complete silence in the building, and I personally don't like that. But on to actual Raw, and not my preferences of watching it on TV instead of being there. The show itself was good. Now, apparently, Pat McAfee has gotten in trouble for something he did or said, but like I said, when you're there live, you can't hear them, so I don't know what he did or what he said, but I absolutely cannot stand Pat McAfee. But somebody asked me yesterday that actually also went to the show, how come the atmosphere just seemed like it was dead? It just wasn't there, and it's not like wrestling was 20 years ago. And I said that American fans have destroyed wrestling, and that's why you see them now going to France, going to Brazil, going to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, going to Mexico. Fans over there just love good wrestling. American fans have destroyed wrestling because they spend the entire time watching it. Instead of enjoying the show, they try to book the show. They want to know, why ain't this person doing this? Why is this person doing this? Why ain't they using this person? That was a bad idea. I wouldn't have done that. Why ain't so-and-so champion? Why is so-and-so champion? Why are they doing that? And it's just not fun. When you sit there and you question every single thing that happens, you're not going to enjoy the show. You can't enjoy the show because you're too busy criticizing every single thing that they're doing, unless it's something that you like. And when they went to France for their last premium live event, that was probably the best crowd I've ever seen. And I mentioned that here on the channel when I went back and reviewed the show, that it was the best crowd I've ever seen. They didn't sit there and question everything that got done. They didn't care. They didn't care who won. They didn't care who lost. They didn't care who the champions were. All they cared about was seeing good wrestling. And that's what is supposed to happen. And until the fans here get back to that, that's the atmosphere we're going to get. Because we're too busy questioning every single thing that they're doing. And it takes away from the pleasure and the enjoyment of the show. And since I was there, I don't know if they announced attendance or not, but I will say that if they came out and said that it was a sellout crowd, they lied. It was not. I was there, and there was about probably, I don't know, 2,000 maybe seats that were empty, if that many. I'm not quite sure how many the Bon Secours Arena holds, but I would say there was between 1,500 and 2,000 empty seats. So if they did come out and say it was a sellout, they lied. If they did not mention attendance at all, that's why, because they didn't want to come out and say it's a sellout crowd, because it was not. And if Monday ended the consecutive live sellout streaks, that's pitiful, because the South used to be where people went for wrestling. The South used to be prominent for wrestling. So it'd be a crying shame if the South is now what caused them to end their consecutive sellout streak, but it was not a sellout Monday night. And I am absolutely up to my neck in the Jey Uso thing. I cannot decide who I hate more, Jey Uso or Sami Zayn. I have never liked Sami Zayn. I don't know why. It's nothing he's done. He's a phenomenal wrestler. But for whatever reason, there's just something about him that I just absolutely cannot stand. And I just can't get behind him. And no matter what he does, I just don't like him. And I never was a big fan of the Uso tag team. I just never liked them. But when they split, I tried to pull for one or the other to see how they could do as singles wrestlers. But this whole Yeet thing, I'm fed up with it. We walked in the door about 6:10 Eastern time Monday night, and probably about 6:15, I'm hearing the fans that are already inside hollering out Yeet, and I was like, oh my gosh, whoever invented that word needs to be shot. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So I absolutely cannot stand Jey Uso. And it's nothing he's done. It's just that thing he's doing now with his entrance. I can't take it. And people know me. They know I like to be different. That's why I'm a Clemson fan that grew up in the state of Georgia. Because everybody in Georgia liked the Bulldogs. And I wanted to be different and like somebody besides the Bulldogs. So I found Clemson back in 1996. I don't want to be the same. Being the same is boring. Everybody else now likes Jey Uso. I can't stand him. I'm fed up with him. So that's just some of my thoughts from Raw Monday night. The actual show itself was good. I enjoyed it outside of not having commentators that you can hear during the matches. So all you hear is people around you shouting out something or somebody in front of you talking, and you hear their conversation because there's no noise around you. I don't like that. I just prefer to watch it on TV, just like I do with football, just like I do with basketball. It's so much easier and so much more comfortable watching it in my living room. But overall, top to bottom, I got to see Gunther, so of course that made it a good show. Any thoughts on this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. My wife wants to start a rabbit farm. I told her that's a hair-raising idea. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.